Welcome to our home. And I just picked these beautiful roses, mostly purple ones, and over on this side these are called Double Delight.
Which ones?
These over here.
Oh, the multicolored ones, yeah.
It's not just delight, it's double.
Double delight. And you are a triple delight.
Aww. All right. So today, for our little lesson, it's about the power of words. And I know that we've spoken about this before, but this is a big reminder that our words are really important, and they can really change a person's life when you direct the energy in a beautiful way through your words. So this is a story that took place when we were both 22 years old, and we were just married, and Barry was in medical school in Meharry Medical School in Nashville, Tennessee. And Meharry was one of two black medical schools. And so you were of the minority. Mm-hmm. He just got in, but we were very grateful. We had lived in the North, in New York State, for all of our lives. And my mother in particular was just a real civil rights activist. And we grew up just knowing that we needed to accept and love all people. So it was a real shock. This was 1969, and the prejudice was huge. Like you can't even believe it. How big it was then. And because Barry was going to a black medical school, prejudice ran the other way as well. So we got married in 1968, December, and then we moved together to Nashville, Tennessee. And Barry had already been there for 3 months in medical school. And we found a little very cheap apartment, and we had a wonderful time until it was time for Barry to go back to school. And this is the story. I was sitting at our kitchen table, and Barry came to me, and he had his medical books, and he leaned over, and he gave me a little kiss, and he said goodbye. That was all that happened. And I looked at him, and I saw the depth of his beauty. I saw who he really is. And we had been together for 4 years, but I had never seen Barry in such beauty. And I said to him, Barry, I'm in awe of your beauty. And you said something like,
well, I'm embarrassed what I said was, maybe you shouldn't be feeling that.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
But can I just explain that, really, I was afraid. And it was, to go back into an environment where I was actually outcast and not liked. And it was just a heavy feeling. And so it was that feeling of fear when I was kissing you goodbye. And I didn't even know at that time, I didn't know how to verbalize this. But you saw my vulnerability. You saw my fear. You saw really all of it. And that's when you saw also my beauty. Yeah, which I couldn't at the time accept.
I absolutely felt in awe of your beauty. Mm. So then 5 years later, we had moved to Los Angeles, and then we had moved to Portland, Oregon, where Barry was doing his residency. And we met this man named Jack Schwartz. Jack Schwartz is he was a very unusual man. He was in the Nazi concentration camp because he was assisting the Jews to escape. This was in Holland. And they tortured him, and he just developed all kinds of self-disciplines while he was in the Nazi concentration camp. And his inner abilities to see things was also deeply strengthened during that time, believe it or not. And he had the ability to look at someone and see when their spiritual rebirth began, when they really started to be aware of God's presence, their spiritual journey. And he looked at Barry and he said, yours began January 1969. We looked at each other and we thought, no, nothing happened. I mean, he went back to school, but and we said, no, we got married in December of 1968. It must be that. No, that wasn't it. It was January 1969, and you figure it out. And it took many years. And our minds were like, he just made a big mistake. Nothing happened then. And I don't know, just all of a sudden, one of us realized it was that moment when Barry was so vulnerable, and I looked into your eyes, and all I saw was this magnificence, this absolute beauty. And I really did. I felt so in awe to just be looking at him, to be with him. And that's the power of words. We never know when we express to someone love and beauty. We never know that can have the power to change a person's life. I know in that instance, with that simple thing that happened between us, it changed your life.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not just about the words. Yes, words have power in themselves, but it's the feeling that comes through the words. And when Joyce said those few words to me, Barry, I'm so in awe of your beauty, she was seeing something in me I was not seeing. And now I look back, or when we first realized what had happened, I realized that I couldn't see it at the time, but something in me needed to awaken to what Joyce was seeing. And it was like that was the beginning of really my spiritual growth, that I needed to find in me what Joyce was seeing in me. And so Jack was right. That was the moment. Yeah.
All right. You have a beautiful song.
Oh. Yeah, it's a song. It's a song about vulnerability, and it's for me. There's a line that feeling my need. I forget the exact line. When I sing it, it comes to me. But it's about when I'm feeling my need for love. That's really when I feel the strongest. That's when I feel my deepest strength. And it seems like such a paradox, but it's true. That for me, that's my deepest vulnerability is to be just at peace with how much I need love. And of course, it's the need for spirituality. It's the need for the light. It's the need for God. But it's also the need for people. And for me, it's my need for you. And that's really important, because I was in denial for the beginning of our marriage, how much I needed Joyce. And yet that's my strength. That's my superpower. Needing love is my superpower. How do you like that? When I'm vulnerable, stronger when I'm needing love, when I make room for my feelings, there's more of me to love. I'm beautiful when I'm vulnerable, stronger when I'm needing love. When I make room for my feelings, there's more of me to love. 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 My weakness is part of my strength. I'm being more vulnerable. I embrace being human with all my emotions. It makes me more lovable. It makes me more lovable. I'm beautiful when I'm vulnerable, stronger when I'm needing love, when I make room for my feelings, there's more of me to love. 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 And let's just feel a moment, that how our vulnerability, our all those feelings that we try to run away from are actually part of our beauty. Just like my fear going back to school was allowed Joyce to see the deepest beauty of my soul. It's not like you have to walk around in fear all the time, right? It's that when you are afraid, you can admit it and feel your need for love. Okay, so open your eyes and really find ways to be even a little bit more vulnerable in your life with those you love, because you will be inviting deeper love.
It's beautiful, Barry.
Yeah, thanks.
I remembered this little story this woman told. She knew this woman, a young woman like 20, in her neighborhood who was sentenced to 3 years in jail for something that she did. And this woman decided that she would take it upon herself to write to this woman several times a month in jail. And as it turns out, she was the only one that did write to her. And she kept affirming the goodness that she saw in this woman. And she kept affirming that she believed that this woman had love and had a purpose in life. And the woman got out of jail, and she contacted this woman, and she said, "Your letters are what kept me going. Your letters are what made me want to be a better person and really do good in this life." It's so powerful. Our words, what they can do.
Yeah.
So thank you. Oh, before we end, I don't usually wear so much jewelry, but our little grandson Owen made these for me. This is when he was 5, and this was last Christmas when he was 7. So I like to wear them together, and he's very proud of them. So I am too.
And you tell him how much it means to you.
Oh, every time.
And those words are powerful too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm still in awe of Barry.
And I'm just as much in awe of you. Ooh.